Welcome back to our series, Wake Up, Catalyzing Consciousness. We're here in conversation with Victor Sims. Victor is actually the developer of a series of technologies that in fact utilize consciousness within their construct. And so today we're actually going to be speaking about what is this construct of reality? And Victor, you shared a story with me. In fact, you live in Northern England, and at a certain point you traveled to the United States, the San Francisco area, for a wedding. And I think it's a very visceral example of how diverse constructs of reality can exist within our same perception of our lives. Can you share that story with us?
Yeah, sure. My partner and I went to a wedding over in San Francisco, which was about just before Christmas last year. And my usual daily practice, as always for many years, has been to connect in with the Creator's love. So I do a little practice many times a day when I can remember to do it. And it's I say that I am one with the Creator's love, and the Creator's love is one with me. And for me, if I do that a couple of times, I can feel a build up of me making that connection, and in a visceral sense, I can feel it, in my heart. It makes me feel great. Can
you repeat the formula again? Because it's something that other people could in fact test and see if it works for them as well.
Okay, so it's I am one with the Creator's love, and the Creator's love is one with me. So I say that 3 times, and if you can breathe out as well, or breathe in and breathe out. You say, I am one with the Creator's love. The Creator's love is one with me. And sort of breathe. It's the breath that actually helps, and I find that to actually open up a bridge in terms of consciousness, and I can feel that energy coming back. So when we went to San Francisco, we arrived there in the evening, and I decided to do a quick connection, as it were, and I found out that I couldn't. So I thought, oh, this is strange. Maybe it's just jet lag.
So wait a second. How does it feel diverse when you don't connect? What's the actual experience?
Well, there's
of that?
no feedback. There's none of this nice feeling that comes back and touches my heart. So it's like I made the request to connect, and it went, it's like, and it's like, oh, that's very strange. It's as though briefly the connection was made, but then it was closed.
You weren't in the middle of the immigration line when you were trying to do this, were you?
No, we were back. We were in the hotel.
Okay, so just you were in a space that could have been conducive to making this connection.
That's right. Yeah, okay. Most spaces that I'm in, I can just find that connection. So I thought, oh, it's just jet lag. Anyway, the next day, I do my meditation in the morning, and the same problem. I thought, well, this is really strange. Anyway, to cut a long story short, 2 weeks later, having gone all the way up to Mount Shasta, which has definitely some beneficial sacred feelings up there, I found that I couldn't connect either. I could sense things around me that were beautiful, and some of the consciousnesses were beautiful, absolutely, for sure. But I just couldn't make this one connection that I've been making for a long time and trust it. So it got me to wonder what the hell was going on. Anyway, my partner had to go to see our son, who was in another part of America. So she left on another plane, and I was there to wait for my own aircraft, still in the hotel. So I decided that I was going to crack this. Right, so I went into meditation.
So I just want to stop you. I often describe Victor as my friend who has hacked consciousness, so that you needed to crack this lack of connection, I think, is a very particular aspect of your personality and your skill and talent as a long-term meditator.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So it was just a natural thought process of I need to find out why this is not happening, and here's an opportunity I have all day to be on my own and just sit in the hotel room and figure it out. So I went into meditation, and the first thing I was asking, we're in America, let's see if we can connect in with an indigenous consciousness. What do the Native American tribes use as their connection to source? Because I was in a different country, I thought I'd just try this out. And so, they use various different words. One of them is the creator. So I thought, oh, that resonates with me. Let's try and understand this. Anyway, after some hours of research, some of it on Google, I might say, I was sitting in the hotel figuring out the Native American words for various different deities and things that they might do, and I was just trying to make a connection to them, and I was pretty much having trouble all round, really. And then I discovered that there was a potential for a reality shift, and I was in a different reality, which kind of I was kind of curious about.
So you were in a different reality from what?
Different reality to the one that I'm normally in.
So your day-to-day reality here in Northern England.
Exactly, yeah,
right.
Even right this second.
Right.
So, but I didn't perceive it changing. But because I couldn't do my practice, I knew something had changed. So I figured out a script on my notepad, because I have prolific notepads. I've got at least 40 different notepads, which are my day-to-day doodlings and thinkings of various different things. So I was writing in my pad, and I came up with a script. So the script was a bit like, I am one with the creator's love, the creator's love is one with me. That's just kind of a script. So I worked out the fact that I was in a different reality to the one that I was normally in. So the words came to me in my meditation that if I realigned myself to the creator's original template for humanity. I know that sounds like a load of old words, but I'm writing a script here, trying to understand what's going on.
So we should say you're a programmer as well. So you're essentially, we're talking about
a
programming reality,
yeah,
as opposed to writing a program on a computer terminal.
Yes, but my goal was to actually understand why this shift had happened, so that I could make a program that I could share with people another time. So I was actually thinking, if I'm experiencing this, then other people must be experiencing it. They probably may not know, but I know that something's happened, because I'm an interloper from another country, just come in. It's obvious that something's wrong for me. So I thought I'd make a program at some point in the future. So I was diligently writing down my different, does this work? No. Does this work? No. Does this work? Well, kind of. And working on the basis of...
were you muscle testing this kinesthetically? Were you dowsing? What was your yes
dowsing,
and no
actually.
coming from? You were dowsing?
Yeah, sort of a combination between dowsing and just being intuitive. Same thing, really. Dowsing is just an extension of one's intuition, and it's easier to be quantitative. If you've got a pendulum with numbers, you can sort of say, "Oh, that's a 70," or it's a 20. It's like.
So, just in terms of your experience, asking the question, dowsing, and you get a percentage, with 100% being full on yes, and 5% being nearly no.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly how it works. So I figured it out. And I figured out that if I use that phrase, that I could actually move back to my original reality.
So go back. The phrase that you came up with was
that to build a bridge to the Creator's original reality for humanity.
Original reality, original blueprint?
No, I just used, I think I did use the word blueprint. I'd have to look in my notes to be sure.
Right.
So having done that, then I moved into this, what I would say, back to my normal reality. And sure enough, I could make my connection, and all was dandy. But then, as this was only halfway through the day, I decided to go for lunch in a neighbouring hotel, and took my little notepad, and I was making notes because I was going to make a formula for this particular experience, because I thought it would be useful. And I was, really practicing this.
So just to back up again, so make a formula, we should say that you actually develop these technologies that are in fact able to be shared with other humans.
Yes, so, that's right. Yeah.
The pendants, for example.
The pendants contain a formula or a program, depending on how you look at it. So I'll just pull
out and give this example again. So this sort of pendant, so you were working to be able to write a program that could be transmitted to this sort of pendant.
Yes, that's correct.
So someone like me could travel to the States with the pendant on and not experience this this shift in reality that you were experiencing that did not allow you to connect to your spiritual practice that you do regularly.
That is absolutely true.
Right.
So then I went to this hotel for lunch, and at lunch everything was lovely, and I had my notepad, and I was just making extra notes, and I was really into it at that moment, in the zone. But then I finished lunch, I came out, and I just sat in the lobby because I had hours to kill at this point still for my plane, and I just glanced up at the CNN news, big screen, no sound, just there as they always are, just with the news going across the bottom, and something caught my attention on the news, because I hadn't really seen the news for about 3 weeks, and so I was just sort of, and I obviously got caught in it energetically, and I kid you not, within 10 seconds flat, I moved from my wonderful normal space to this other back into this other reality. I didn't even see it coming. And then I thought, well, that's interesting, because I did feel a little tiny, in my consciousness. But it was, hundreds of things happen in consciousness. It's like, well, I'm not sure what that was. But then I thought, well, actually, I'll just try to see where I am in this. So I tried to reach out to this, connect with the creator's love. I couldn't do it.
Again.
Couldn't do it. So I thought, right, I've got you now. So I've got my book out. I've been rehearsing it anyway, so I didn't need my book at that point. And I made this, bridge to the creator's original template. So
you were again repeating this phrase internally in terms of making the bridge. I'm sure
it could be any phrase that instructed my consciousness to realign itself with a concept of, in this case, the blueprint for humanity, humanity's reality. I'm not sure there could be many words that you could use for that. Right. It sounds a lot of words anyway. But it got me back there immediately. So I thought, right, okay, I've actually got an experience now of having the problem, didn't I had it, then fixing the problem, and then being exposed just to whatever's coming over the TV, getting hooked into it, and then fixing the problem again. So to me, that was proof of that experience. And then we made a formula.
And so does this exist now? Is there a pendant or something that someone could in fact utilize to?
Yes, we put it in a couple of pendants actually, just as a sort of an addition to like almost a standard add-on to the pendant.
So if I'm someone who's not aware of the fact that my reality is shifting in this way, but I'm wearing this pendant, what might the result be for me?
I think it only showed up for me, even though I was in San Francisco. It only showed up to me when I did my practice, because I was unable to make that spiritual connection to the level. So
it's a spiritually bridging technology, essentially.
Not necessarily. I think the technology is there to bridge people to a deeper level of connection to the divine or to the creator. But equally, a lot of people don't do that sort of practice anyway.
Right.
They don't perhaps go as far as maybe in my meditation I seem to go that far.
Right.
And therefore they wouldn't miss it.
Right. Interesting.
But my inner guidance over this, because nothing happens for no reason, my inner guidance over this situation was that actually there were people out there all over the world who were, and I'm going to use this word in inverted commas, supposed to wake up at this time in this incarnation, but there were interferences that were preventing them from waking up. So there are lots of people all over the planet who have the potential in this lifetime of waking up, but there are transmissions, we call it from TV, because that's what I was talking about, and other things that seem to change their reality so that they don't even think about waking up. So
we're going to take a little break now. Stick with us. We'll be back in a little while with our third episode with Victor Sims, who's the developer of conscious technology. Thank you, Victor.
Thank you.